This is the match we've been waiting for in Tennessee, as it's the two-time champions Lou City and the title-hunting Boys in Gold. This is the match we've been waiting for in Tennessee, as it's the two-time champions Lou City and the title-hunting Boys in Gold of Nashville. The lights are on, the stakes are high, the match is next from First Tennessee Park. It is game night for Nashville Soccer Club, and this one is full of charge as we welcome you to First Tennessee Park, where the title holders Lou City have roared down I-65 to clash with the surging Boys in Gold. 6th place Louisville, 3rd place Nashville, colliding head-on in Music City. Glad to have you with us, and welcome up to our broadcast booth. John Freeman, Ronnie Woodard. We're heading down the final stretch here of the USL regular season. Just 3 games remaining for Nashville, and Ronnie, both teams eyeing top 4. In Nashville's case, maybe even a top 2 spot tonight. They've got to get a win against Louisville if they need to get that.
Well, the race for the top is so tight. It's 5 points separating seed 1 through 5. Now, it's a good situation for Nashville and Lou City because they have a game in hand. But after tonight, everyone will be on an even playing field with 32 games. Now, Nashville has got to make sure not to drop any points. It'll be detrimental to their home field advantage. And Lou City wants to keep that advantage going because they're on a game unbeaten streak since August 3rd. So it's sure to be a volatile and entertaining environment tonight.
Yeah, 10 straight unbeaten for Lou City. Third member of our broadcast crew down on the field, it's our Kelly Glendenning with some nice weather tonight too.
Yes, finally we have that nice weather. Thanks, John. Before the match, I spoke with head coach Gary Smith about the team's attitude and preparation leading up to tonight's match. Here's what he said.
Well, they've been very buoyant. They've seen results go for them. They've seen an opportunity that maybe might not have been there come into view again with regards to the game in hand and really putting Pittsburgh under pressure. But we're certainly not overlooking what this Louisville side's about. So we've spent every single opportunity we can making sure that we've covered every single base we can to try and win this game. And the focus will certainly be on being aggressive, being very positive in our play, and asking some serious questions of a good side.
Nashville has had a few extra days to prepare for tonight's match coming off of that bye week. They've had 10 days since their last home game, whereas Louisville, well, they've had 3. John?
Thank you very much, Kelly. This will be the 6th meeting between these teams in just 2 years. Who will Gary Smith trust in the most important edition of it yet? We will have his starting 11, and Ropapa Mensah is in it. The relentless heat that's hovered over Nashville for the past several weeks has departed, and now a pristine evening taking hold of Middle Tennessee. The sun is down and our starting lineups are up. We will begin with the home side, who was last seen in Northern Virginia, coolly dispatching Loudoun United 10 days ago. Matt Pickens, his 3rd straight clean sheet in that match. Daniel Rios scored his conference-leading 18th goal. The assist came from Ropapa Mensah, who also scored one of his own and finds himself again in the 4-2-3-1.
Ropapa Mensah, what a magnificent game Ropapa had against Loudoun last week. He showed his sheer explosiveness and power with the ball at his feet. Ropapa is undoubtedly one of the most aggressive and dangerous flank players in the USL.
12th start of the season for Ropapa Mensah. As for the road side, while their opponent had the weekend off, they spent theirs crossing the Mississippi and taking all 3 points from St. Louis. Magnus Rasmussen had the only goal, and he starts again, but the stabilizing force, center back Paco Craig.
Paco Craig, the son of the ever-loving bass player from Culture Club, is the anchor of the Lou City defense. He's committed in the air, tireless in his defensive manners, and has never seen a tackle he doesn't like. I predict an epic matchup between Nashville Daniel Rios and Paco Craig.
Well, an autumn chill has descended over First Tennessee Park, and with it a reminder that soccer seasons are defined when the sun sets early and the air is crisp. Louisville and Nashville. Just the mere sight of each other raises both the stakes and heart rates. The club in gray, desperate to continue its reign over this league. The club in gold with ambitions of overthrowing the Kings and then leaving the realm. A critical night in October underway. Temperatures dropping into the high 60s on a clear and clean evening. And Nashville immediately going to work with Daniel Rios. Let's browse the Vanderbilt Health injury report. Michael Reed will be a permanent fixture on it for the rest of the season. Meanwhile, Ken Tribbett makes an appearance with a leg issue. He was questionable coming in. He does not make the game day 18 tonight for Nashville. Expect physicality early and often, Ronnie. These teams have a history, and Gary Smith said he wants his team to impose itself from the opening whistle.
Well, I don't think it's a secret that there's no love lost between these two sides. Every match is physical, it's fast-paced, and it's filled with dramatics. And tonight, with so much on the line with postseason standings, tonight is sure to be very spirited.
When Louisville's lineup was posted, it brought up several questions about John Hackworth's selections. I'll tell you about those in a second. Our official tonight, Lucas Spalla, oversees both these teams for the first time this season. The name may ring familiar for Nashville fans, as it was Spalla who last year afforded Nashville an extra minute of injury time in a match against North Carolina FC. That was the game where Opapa-Mensah scored using that extra minute. An unforgettable late winner at First Tennessee Park. The team has carried the tradition into this year. Near stoppage time winners in 2 of their last 3 home matches. So back to Louisville's starting lineup, Ronnie. There's a player, Taylor Pay, who has barely played in the last month, just 17 minutes. Paolo Del Piccolo has only played 25 minutes in the last month. Sean Francis, 77 minutes, and George Davis, 28 minutes, all in the last month. That's not very many minutes for a crucial game down the stretch.
Well, it's certainly not, but you also have to take in consideration that they only had 3-day recovery. They did arrive in Nashville on Sunday, and they've been doing regeneration ever since. So this could be a fatigue factor. It could be thinking down the stretch and long term for Coach Hackworth, and maybe what he's figuring is his formation is going to look like.
Not only did Louisville play on the road, it was at St. Louis, which is a turf field and known to be one of the harsher surfaces in the league. Here's Jimmy Ockford, pursued by Rasmussen. One back by Niall McKay. Nashville led by Gary Smith, who told us yesterday he's never been more revved up for a regular season match in Nashville than this one. Said tonight, right up there with last year's Open Cup match versus Colorado and the playoff match versus Cincinnati as far as anticipation. In his words, quote, "This game gives me a shiver down the spine." Did you think he expected this lineup from Louisville? I can see you over my shoulder, Ronnie, trying to decipher their formation. It's a typical 4-3-3 for John Hackworth in the last 10 matches. But he has presented a different deck of cards tonight.
But is it? You know, I mean, at times in their defensive shape, it just looked like 2 banks of 4 with 2 stepping high. And look at it right there. You know, see Rasmussen stepping a little bit higher. See where he is, 7 step a little high. Now they're a little bit more into a 4-4-1-1 shape. But it can go in a lot of different ways. But it looks like they're teetering in between pulling back into a 4-4-2 and a 4-2-3-1.
Well, fans, keep up to date with us all season long. Follow our journey to Major League Soccer at NashvilleSC.com. Mensah, isolated against Francis, blows right by him, squares it back in front, just under the foot of Rios. Now Taylor Washington, of all the people to score one of the biggest goals of the season, it's Taylor Washington with his first of the year. They just could not wait to sink their teeth in. 1-0 at First Tennessee Park, the Dex Imaging goal.
So this all starts by Opapa-Mensah. Look at him. He faces up, and as we talked about, he's an aggressive and powerful player. And he spins and gets the end line, and he lays a ball across, and it's not laid across, it has pace on it, and Daniel Rios steps over it accidentally. And what he rarely does. But what you've got is Justin Davis pushing into the attack, framing that backside of the 18, and plays a very early ball back into Taylor Washington for a first-time finish. Excellent attacking by Nashville Soccer Club.
Just the second goal in his Nashville career for Taylor Washington. Scored 1 last year, and now his first of the season. More known for his creating of chances, second on the team in chances created. much more of a provider.
Well,
his heart rate thundering under that crest on his chest.
Well, how about his first touch being a goal in the match, right? Justin Davis's first touch is a ball served across and gets an assist. Fabulous start for Nashville.
How will the two-time defending champions respond? Be tough getting around this center back pairing of Forrest Lasso and Jimmy Ockford. Take a look at the goal.
Look at Papa Mensah, just sheer power. Look at his athletic ability. Isolates and he drives a ball across. And I think Hubbard got a little touch on that. And what a great ball by Justin Davis, and laced it. First time left foot by Taylor Washington, an absolute class finish by him.
Del Piccolo. They've tried to thread it through for Brian Obi. Important intervention by Forrest Lasso. Nicked out by Darnell King.
Great sliding effort by Darnell King to break that up.
Gary Smith told us, quote, "We'll open the cage door at 6:50 and you'll see this group frothing at the mouth out of the tunnel."
I think that
His
was
words ringing true at First Tennessee Park.
Absolutely a fair assessment of the first 5 minutes of the match for Nashville Soccer Club.
Francis. McCabe. Taylor Pay. He's played just 17 minutes in the last month. Did go a full 90 against Nashville. The last time these teams met, it was a 2-1 comeback victory by Louisville City in Kentucky. Good response here by the visitors. Have Nashville pinned back. And pulling on Ropampa Mensah was Paco Craig, who already in discussions with Lucas Spalla. And Craig needs to be careful. He is one yellow card away from, yes, his 5th suspension of the season. 11 yellows, 2 reds for Craig in 26 games. And he'll never change the way he plays, and he shouldn't. He's 2-time first-team All-USL at center back. Daniel Rios asking questions of Craig. No nonsense clearance. There is a matchup that you loved coming in. It's Daniel Rios, who can be quite a pest himself against center backs. Known to get under their skin with just the way he plays. It's one of the most mentally strong players in the league. Here's Ropampa Mensah again, feathering his cross in.
And it's not only his ability on the ball, but off the ball too. He's a lot to track for a center back. Keeping up with his movement and making sure that he's not falling in between gaps and half spaces in between Craig and Toesh is really going to be a difficult task today. And with the fiery spirit that we know Paco Craig has had in the past, I just think Daniel Rios could really get under his skin a bit.
Interestingly enough, out of Daniel Rios' 18 goals this season, only 6 have come at home. What do you make of that?
Wow. You know, I think what it just shows, it speaks to his pro ability. He knows when the team's on the road that the center forward on a team is responsible for putting the ball in the back of the net, and he takes that very seriously, no matter what system Nashville's playing on the road. If they're sitting in and bunkering in a bit and absorbing pressure, his job is to make sure that he converts opportunities he has. At home, when it's in the run of play, perhaps he's a decoy a bit more. And you can see a little bit more action from Ropapa-Mensah, maybe Lebo Maloto, Taylor Washington, Alan Wynn when he's in, Belmar. You know, those are all different dynamics when they're playing in different systems within your environment. I think the bottom line is Daniel Rios is a class goal scorer in the USL. He's deceptively fast. He's incredibly technical, but it's the timing of his movement in between the gaps of the center backs and his timing of movement in the box on balls that are served in makes him exceptional.
When we asked Gary Smith earlier this season, who would you compare him to that people watch on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and his name he brought up was Harry Kane from Tottenham.
It's a tall order.
Just the way that he plays a complete game, hold-up play, along with excellent finishing.
Let's hope that his scoring is not like Kane's has been for Tottenham in the recent few months, or few weeks, I should say. It's been a rough road for Tottenham fans recently.
Set piece, peculiar position for Nashville. Steering committee of Lebo Maloto and Justin Davis. Goalkeeper tonight, Chris Hubbard, will not collect his 5th clean sheet of the season after the early goal from Taylor Washington. Hoisted in by Maloto. Hubbard off his line. It falls for Matt LaGrassa. Steered towards Rios. And punched out for a throw-in.
Well, first of all, I think Hubbard was a little ambitious with him coming for this ball, but he comes aggressively, and he really takes down a monster of a man in Forrest Lasso. Crawls right up his back, gets a little bit of punch. He's real lucky that LaGrassa didn't capitalize on that open net. Takes a good hit to knock Forrest Lasso to the ground.
He is no small human. 6'5". Here's Maloto. Return past Paolo Del Piccolo. Goes out for a goal kick. Look, we knew it was going to be physical. That has lived up to the hype.
I think he actually called a foul on Lebo on the end line. Lebo had that isolation touch, turned in behind, and I think he got a little bit too much wrapped up, and they called a foul.
Lasso first to it. Davis. Trying to find an incision point. Somehow stays with Davis. Now Speedy Williams. Expertly switched to Sean Francis. Launched in. Spun wide. Del Piccolo lurking in the area.
So this is a quality little ball from Francis, just bent in. Look at that, right onto Del Piccolo's left foot. But I think we just saw one of the moments of why maybe Francis was brought into this lineup tonight. His ability to serve that ball in and find some targets like a Del Piccolo or a Rasmussen or even an Ownsby, I think we're going to see materialize as the match goes on.
Del Piccolo only 1 goal this season. It was a big one, though. It was an equalizer against Indy 11. Hey fans, see the latest team content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at our handle, Nashville SC. Now I'm sitting here saying, okay, well, Taylor Pay's only played 17 minutes in the last month or so. Del Piccolo 25, Francis 77, Davis 28. But these are big-time players that have had major roles for this club this season and before in some of their title runs.
Well, sure. You know, Lou City is undeniably one of the most talented and well-coached teams in the USL East. I mean, I think that's a given. And I think every one of their players are incredibly talented. But what we're looking at right now is the lack of experience in this season. The amount of minutes that they've really participated so far has been minimal compared to the number of minutes that we've seen from Washington and Ropapa-Mensah or even Alan Wynn and Belmar when they come into the game. So in my opinion, a really gutsy move by that man right there, John Hackworth, to bring in two less experienced players on the season against two very experienced players, especially of a player like Ropapa Mensah, who's coming off of the quality match of a goal and an assist in the last game. And look what immediately happened. Ropapa faced up on Francis, used that explosiveness and that power to turn the corner, and single-handedly created the opportunity for Nashville to be able to convert within 5 minutes of the first. Kickoff.
Not only did Hackworth have to manage tonight roster-wise, he's also got to manage that Louisville again plays on Saturday against Swope Park for the third time in an 8-day span. And
that's a dilemma, you know. We've seen Coach Smith do this throughout the year, rest a player here and there, catching their legs up, and giving other players opportunities. And what that really does is down the playoff stretch makes you even stronger and a more complete team. But this is an important match for Nashville and Lou City tonight. You know, there are points on the table, and it's a title race for Nashville and a home field advantage. And then you've got Lou City that's biting and scratching to get up better than a 6th seed too. And so to rest a player in this environment, I'm positive that Hackworth must have a plan for what this is looking like in his head, or he would not have made that decision.
And if Nashville were to win this game, it would ensure them a finish above Lou City and mean that they will never, for the rest of their club history, go to Louisville Slugger Field. Of course, Louisville building a new stadium that they'll enter next year. And it is a castle for the Kings.
Well, and I spoke to some friends last week when we were in a coaching course, and they said it's absolutely phenomenal. It's just state of the art.
Yeah, you're looking at not only one of the best second division stadiums in the U.S., but the entire continent as well.
Absolutely.
Gary Smith's Nashville team has now gone over 300 minutes without conceding a goal. They're buzzing again into the attacking third. Washington, the goal scorer. Akinyoti. Rios. Sprung Darnell King. Isolated against Francis. The cross comes in towards Mensah. Akinyoti has won it back. The late whistle comes. Perhaps a raised knee from Akinyoti. Any deliberations between the teams? There is something between these teams. You can feel it in a way that you don't normally feel in USL matches.
But don't you love it?
Akinyoti going to get a talking to by Lucas Spalla. And it goes back not only to last year, but also this year. The teams played a friendly in Florida to start the season. And it was just to, stretch the legs, warm up the season, get your preseason underway. And apparently it was quite competitive.
I don't think it was just competitive. I think it was combative, I think, is what the issue is. So I'm not sure what... I'm not sure what separates that attack on the ball from Akinyoti over how Ropapa was just crawled over by Tosh inside of the box and with an elbow to the back of the head. I don't understand the difference in the two. You can call the foul, that's fine, but I don't understand what the issue was with having to have a conversation with Bolu Akinyoti. There was no intent in that. His knee wasn't raised on purpose. He was simply jumping and heading past him.
Well, the difference was one was in the 18-yard box and the other wasn't, right?
Of course, that's why the whistle didn't blow on the first one. But I don't mind the foul being called. That's certainly within the right of the referee, but I don't know that the stern talking to was called for in that kind of situation.
This is the referee, Lucas Spalla, who's had a couple quiet nights, but earlier in the season had a 5-match spell where he had 6 red cards and 4 penalties in just 5 matches.
Well, he might have that kind of match tonight.
Well, fans get Nashville SC updates and alerts all year long by clicking follow on ESPN.com. Nashville fighting to play in front of those home fans in the first round of the playoffs. The top 4 teams in the USL Championship Eastern Conference will play a home game to start the playoffs. Nashville guaranteed with 6 points, so 2 wins out of their last 3 matches, guaranteed a home playoff game. Offside flag was up on Ownby. But the ambition's much higher than just a top 4, Ronnie. Top 2, or maybe even a regular season title on the minds of the Nashville players.
There's your man, Matt Pickens, right there.
Yeah, and his eyes are on the Golden Glove.
Well, the leader of this group is most definitely Matt Pickens. He's a pro. He's a pro through and through. You know, he leads on and off the field. He demands of his teammates and his players that are in front of him. But he also, when it comes time to make a huge save, he does that.
So Matt Pickens right now leading the Golden Glove race in the USL Championship, East and West combined.
Look, he's smiling.
The team staff has done the math. If he concedes less than 4 goals and plays in each of the final 3 matches of the season, he will win the Golden Glove.
Very fair and just. By far, one of the most talented and effective goalkeepers in the USL.
Free kick launched in by Justin Davis. Matt LaGrassa making the connection, never bothering the goalkeeper, Chris Hubbard.
Solid ball by Justin Davis, who always delivers well on a set piece. It's lofted a little high. Maybe we could have driven it a bit more to get into LaGrassa, but LaGrassa, you know, even at the size that he is, he's still a good target within the box.
Louisville streaming through the midfield, and now Brian Ownby covering defense coming from Darnell King. Tracked down by McCabe. He's split King, crosses a good one. Greeted at the front post by Forrest Lasso.
Great individual efforts all the way across that. What a great recovery run by Darnell King to break it up. But then he lost his composure a bit, and they cut on him. And then there's Forrest Lasso coming in on the inside of Ownsby to break up that attack, because that was an extremely dangerous ball that was played in by McCabe. Darnell King was so excited about the tackle that he had come in to break up the first play, lost a little composure and patience defensively, and McCabe chopped that ball on him and provided a quality service into Ownsby.
Davis. Now Ownby. Finally cleared by Lasso. Pump tire up the field by Washington. Lou City, the back-to-back champions, the only team in USL history to repeat as champions. Interesting note, though, they have won all of their, in their championship winning seasons, they have won all of their home games. In fact, they have played 12 playoff games in club history. They have won all 10 that are at home. They have lost both on the road. And here they are with their backs against the wall, needing points to play home matches in the playoffs.
Again, it's no secret some of the challenges of playing at the Lou City field. And it's no secret why they're so effective at home and the results go their way. It fits to their system of play. And the structure of what John Hackworth builds in his team is tailored towards that field. And so one would expect that they would be extremely successful at home and maybe a little bit more challenged on the road.
John Hackworth, just a couple weeks ago in an interview, was saying even though they're the defending champions, he feels like the national media still doesn't give this team enough respect.
Well, we're giving it to them tonight, that's for sure.
Quote, we know that we're as good as anybody. We don't want to be as good as anybody. We want to make sure we beat everybody.
And here's the thing. Is that just motivation for his team? Because internally, does it really matter what the media says when your goal is to go back-to-back and win back-to-back USL championships? No. Could he be possibly firing something to keep his team motivated? Everybody loves an underdog, and everyone finds a motivational strategy behind that. But ultimately, these guys are pros. And respect in the media or no respect in the media, I think that the proof is in the quality that they put on the pitch. Nifty clearance from Taylor Washington.
Safety first from the goal scorer.
Little jump off the right foot, show a little athleticism, serve it off the left.
The hold down was George Davis.
Well,
Ironically taken down by another Davis, and Justin Davis sets up the free kick in the 29th minute.
well, Justin Davis had good position, but he was a little wide in his stance, and the only logical place for Davis from Lou City to go was through his legs, and most defenders take offense to that. So I think Justin Davis said, okay, ball or man, get past me, but not both. And in that situation, the ball had gotten in advance of him, so he did what he could to stop the play. Now, he gave up a set piece in a very dangerous area.
Yeah, and it was Louisville who scored off a set piece. The first time these teams met, it was Paco Craig who scored it against then Nashville goalkeeper Connor Sparrow. And it's Craig who's moseyed into the penalty area. Free kick comes in, parried out. Still work to be done for Nashville. Crashing through, they've worked it wide. Cross comes in, back post, and controlling the airspace is Matt Pickett's. And now the outbreak begins at the feet of Darnell King. And Louisville hustles back to defuse the counterattack. Major League Soccer is almost here. Season tickets are now available. Ticket packages start at just $25 a match, and payment plans are available. To purchase your 2020 MLS season tickets, visit NashvilleSC.com. Half-hour mark. Nashville with the lead. The early goal from Taylor Washington.
So after the game is settled in, it's really clear. Well, we'll talk about this after the attack.
Washington's low cross sent back to Forrest Lasso.
So it's back to the point. So it's really clear that we have mirror systems of one another. So Nashville is playing with an inverted system of two low players, Bolo Akinyoti and Matt LaGrassa, and one high player in Lebo Moloto.
Talking about the midfield, that is.
Talking about the midfield, absolutely. So there are three players in the midfield for both teams. So you've got LaGrassa and Bolo Akinyoti for Nashville that are sitting a little bit lower with Lebo Moloto on top of them. Now, if you switch it and you look at the system or the formation of Lou City, you've got Williams sitting low, which creates a 1-versus-1 matchup with Lebo Moloto. You've got Del Piccolo and Rasmussen sitting up higher, which sets up a 1-versus-1 situation with Bolo Akinyoti and Matt LaGrassa. So it's an even mirror midfield. So there's got to be some dynamic movement between those three players, or the play's going to have to play around them to the flank players. And so it's going to be interesting to watch. But if you've seen so far, very few passes have spent much time combining in the center of the field, because it's technically a 3-versus-3 environment in there.
So if you're Nashville, which player do you look to the most out of those three matchups?
I think what you do in this situation is you create a so-called false nine. which means that a Daniel Rios might check into the midfield a little bit deeper to pull out a center back, and then that's going to allow Lebo Moloto the opportunity to pull in behind him to then play as the highest player. So you play a little bit as Rios with a hold-up play, and then you're going to have to free up Lebo Moloto, which will in essence pull Williams out of that midfield.
We've got a forward in Rios that's willing to do the dirty work. And Lou City embarking down the far side. It's a flexible challenge from Davis.
Because what you do, just to make a picture a little bit more clear, by Daniel Rios checking into the midfield, it creates a 4 versus 3 environment. So there's that extra player that comes in and allows Nashville to have numbers up.
Oh, this is falling right in to the path of Lebo Moloto. Rios has run to his left. Moloto off balance as he entered the attacking third. The game getting more stretched here. McCabe. Francis and now Craig. Sean Tosh. Rasmussen is rescinded in the midfield. Trying to ignite a move forward. Again, repelled by Nashville, who digs in defensively. Oh, how neatly worked that is by the visitors. Francis. Slip wide for Davis. And turned away by Justin Davis. That is sparkling soccer, though, from Lou City.
Lovely work of triangle action in the final third of the field and off the ball movement, all within one touch to destabilize that back line of Nashville. And then here's Davis getting his hips around the ball. And I mean, the whole Davis-Davis matchup is a broadcaster's nightmare, right? I mean, Davis versus Davis.
Well, it's George Davis the fourth for Louisville, so maybe we'll just go with that for the rest of it.
Maybe we'll just start referring to it that way. Now, Justin Davis just took a pretty good hit from about 2 yards away. And so I imagine he's a little shaken, but it's good to see him up. I tell you what, that is one tough man. He's been a warrior for 2 seasons for Nashville. He's consistently put his body in difficult situations and sacrificed everything that he has for the good of this team. And by the way, I walked in the stadium with him today. His baby boy is due in 6 weeks. So it's about to be Daddy Davis in the near future.
Right around the time of the USL Cup.
Yes. And I asked him if he was ready for it, and he said, I am 100% ready. That's what he told me.
Fans follow Nashville SC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home of the USL, MLS, and more. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Here's McCabe. Rasmussen. Pay. Still Pay. Cut out by Lasso. Rios. Turned over to Ownby. Slaloming his way through. And again, occluded by Lasso. Downloaded by Mensah. Hard getting around Forrest Lasso tonight for Lou City.
Well, I think it's hard to get around Forrest Lasso most nights, don't you? I mean, he's just an imposing, powerful center back. He's not easily shaken, and then he has, you know, a very effective left foot. So his front foot tackles, I mean, look at the size of that man. There are very few people in the USL that have had an easy time getting around him. They more have to play in pockets in between he and Ockford, who have been a great pair since they've been together. And add Tribbett into that mix, you're looking at 3 really, really high-quality center backs Nashville Soccer Club has.
here is Lasso in a rare realm, moving the team up the field. Williams. McCabe. Nashville's got to be careful here. In half. Blue City committed to the high press. Nashville on the verge of leading at halftime for just the third time this year. Known for scoring goals late, they want their second here. It's Ropapa-Mensah driven at Hubbard. It was awkward save, right around knee high. And the goalkeeper did very well to parry it out of danger.
I mean, if you could describe a save as a powerful parry, that would have been it. I'm not sure how Hubbard was able to redirect that ball over the on-flying of Daniel Rios, who was just waiting there for any handout that he might have left on that save.
That was about the same angle and distance that Ropapa-Mensah scored against Loudoun. The goalkeeper did not make the save in that case. Really tough save there by Hubbard, and one that he had to make for Lou City to stay in this game.
Oh yeah, going into the locker room 2-0 down for Lou City will determine an entire different second half for them.
Prospective ball towards Rios. Take a look at the save from Chris Hubbard. Plenty of power from Mensah. Yeah, right at that awkward height where he can't make a kick save, has to drop his arms to make it. And Nashville has conceded a set piece right at the edge of the attacking third. Delivery will come from either Niall McCabe or George Davis IV. Will be McCabe. Rebounds out to Davis IV. Full-blooded challenge and a clean one. Taylor Washington feeling the brunt of it. Washington up and moving, and Lebo Maloto's been sliced out. There's George Davis committing the foul, drawing the ire of Lucas Spalla, the center official. Davis IV in jeopardy with the first booking of the evening. There's the yellow card. First player in the book, George Davis IV. Not necessarily for the force involved, but more for how it slowed up what was a promising outbreak for Nashville.
It was high. There's no doubt about it. Lebo Maloto had a great isolation touch, turned him, Davis that is, in the center of the midfield. And Davis came in high, not only with the front foot, but with the back foot, and caught the backside on that tackle. I think that was an appropriate carding.
Well, soccer fans, get your official Nashville SC gear, including MLS styles, online at NashvilleSC.com.
Say the Paco, Craig, Daniel Rios matchup hasn't been overly exciting in the first half, has it?
Which means good defending from Craig,
absolutely, right? Absolutely. I mean, he's been able to hold Daniel Rios at bay and to manage the quality of the runs in those spaces and half spaces in between the midfield and that back line. And I think we all can acknowledge the fact, and we've known this in advance, that Paco Craig is a very good center back. And he is showing that in this match so far tonight by managing the top goal scorer in the East.
2 straight first team all USL selections for Craig. Louisville building triangles in the midfield. Brian Ownby wrestled down and taking exception with Jimmy Ockford. And the rivalry has reached a boiling point. It has been simmering since these teams met in July. It was sparked by a preseason confrontation in Florida, and it is now carried over into the autumn night, and Brian Ownby continuing to be involved with Jimmy Ockford.
Smiles. So, I really appreciate that because he called the 2 players in. It got a little spirited. Ownby lost his head a bit, but then they go back, they smile, they shake it off. They could still be talking a bit of smack out there, but look at the smiles. And I think it was appropriate lack of a card being issued to either. No booking there, a conversation between them. Hey, you guys cut it out. It got spirited. But I think that was quality refereeing right there.
And it's refreshing from the players. You don't see a whole lot of that in the USL just because it's a league where the players move teams more frequently than others and are more familiar often with their opponents. To see teams compete like this is special in this league and certainly entertaining as well. Here's a look at what the flashpoint was.
So their arms get locked up. They're fighting for position. Ownby gets on the inside of Ockford and tries to hold him off. Ockford is a physical presence. Ownby is a physical presence. And the physicality, Ownby gets knocked to the ground, stays back to the field. But really, I love the battle that's going on. I love the fact it wasn't called.
Mensa stringing through for Rios.
Not that it wasn't called, that it didn't affect the end product of the game by a booking for both players. I think it still states a very good moment from the referee that I'm going to allow you to battle and I'm going to allow you to fight within this environment for this game.
Mensa has been a handful for Jamaican national team member Sean Francis. Coolly done by Lasso. Down goes McCabe. Looks like Darnell King's going to go in the book here. First yellow card to a Nashville SC player. Darnell King in the book of Lucas Spalla. Even off camera, there are conversations going around on nearly every matchup on this field.
Oh, how I wish I was closer to the field listening right now and watching it a bit closer. I do think that both coaches are anxiously awaiting getting into the locker room because it is starting to get a little spirited. Although we liked the first battle between Ownby and Ockford.
So Darnell King, look at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, for pulling Niall McCabe. Set piece, floated in. And then smacked away by Rapapa Mensah, who has done his due diligence on the defensive end tonight. Just seconds remaining in a fiery first half at First Tennessee Park. Lucas Spalla going to give Louisville one more chance to maneuver forward. Flicked on towards Brian Ownby. Was heading wide, but insurance clearance from Forrest Lasso. How much longer will Louisville get in this half to attack? It's McCabe. Launched over, and that should surely do it for the first 45.
So the importance of Forrest Lasso covering the very elementary element of getting in behind your goalkeeper and protecting him just put Nashville into the locker room up 1-0. So look at his body shape. He recognizes that he's got to get in on that back post and protect his goalkeeper, who has compromised his shape and come out. That was a goal by Ownby. Without a doubt, that was going in the back of the net. He was right in the middle doing exactly what he needed to do to protect his goal. That is textbook defending that you learn at the elementary levels. If your goalkeeper compromises the shape, one of your defenders must get in and cover.
We got a game at First Tennessee Park. One of the most intense battles of the year as the teams fly down the home stretch of this USL Championship regular season. Taylor Washington's early goal is the difference. The officials have had their hands full. And we have got a battle in Tennessee tonight. Nashville SC leading Lou City 1-0 at half. It's our halftime presented by Nissan on what is a combative Tuesday night in Tennessee.
Welcome to Halftime presented by Nissan. This weekend, Nashville SC took a big step in building out their 2020 MLS roster in the expansion priority draft. Here's a look back at everything that went down this Sunday in New York.
On this side,
So-
side. We're going to walk you guys through everything that we're going to do.
Sure.
At noon, we'll bring everyone in, go through the whole procedure, and then by 12:30 we'll tape. So we've got a lot of time. So
Cool.
but I just wanted you to understand the space that we're working in.
Hi, how are you?
Let's just pull my
McDonough.
Paul, to me.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Well, I'll be guiding you guys through your draft of drafts.
Ooh, we got all the answers for it.
Yeah, something like that. As the rest of MLS prepares for Decision Day, presented by AT&T, 2 expansion clubs are busy preparing for 2020. For Inter Miami, we have the managing owner and CEO, Jorge Mas, and sporting director Paul McDonough. For Nashville SC, CEO Ian Ayre and general manager Mike Jacobs. Welcome, guys. Let's just skip the pleasantries, all right? Let's get to it. Charlie, you have the honors. Flip that coin. Let's see who has the first pick in the expansion priority draft. Inter Miami CF have won the coin flip. They will have the first pick in the expansion priority draft. Fellas, what will you take?
Expansion draft.
Over to Nashville SC, what will you take?
We will take the allocation.
Back to Nashville, what will you take?
Yeah, we will take the MLS re-entry and end-of-year waiver order. Our staff worked really diligently in trying to analyze previous expansion drafts, also previous super drafts, to try to get an idea of each of the assets we have, whether you're selecting first or second, and the value of each of those things. And for us, we really kind of felt that, obviously some of those mechanisms to acquire players are going to be valued more than others. For us, we just felt that the allocation order gives us the best value to add to our roster and our roster build as quick as possible.
Yeah, an important part and exciting to be part of every step we take. As we've said over the last year or so, we've been building to this moment and the moments that come after it. So important to feel it getting more and more real day by day, and this part of making those decisions is a big step.
Stats and standings are coming up next during halftime, presented by Nissan. Stay tuned.
The bandbox packed again at First Tennessee Park. Nashville leading 1-0 at halftime. It is our halftime presented to you by Nissan. Just one more regular season home game in this stadium at First Tennessee Park. Nashville's next home game will actually be across the Cumberland River at Nissan Stadium on Saturday when North Carolina FC comes to town. We're in the final 2 weeks of the regular season, and right now Nashville With the 1-0 lead over the defending champions, let's go ahead and take a look at our first half stats. It was a combative first half. You can see the fouls mounting up for both sides. Some yellow cards dished out as well. The 5th-minute goal from Taylor Washington is a difference. And there's some stats off the screen, Ronnie, that are really standing out to you as well.
Yeah, the most important one that I've seen is the passes completed. And according to the stats that we received at halftime, Nashville's completed 140 passes, and Lou City has completed 308. So what you see is the difference in Lou City is maintaining possession of the ball, and I would even venture to say in very dangerous spaces in their attacking third. And Nashville is very opportunistic and are transitioning very quickly from defending to attacking.
Yeah, Nashville came out flying in the first half, got the 5th-minute goal, and then Lou City answered back with several good plays in the majority of the possession.
Yeah, there's no doubt that was, Nashville came out screaming off of the kickoff. And then the game settled in. Lou City started to maintain possession, and their passing accuracy was 81% in that half, as compared to 65% for Nashville. So as you can see, the rhythm really shifted a bit to Lou City's favor, and that was in part to the creative movement, the dynamic movement of Obi up top.
We'll talk about Obi when we start the second half, but let's take a look at why these points are so important for these teams. This is the live table, so this has 3 points penciled in for Nashville right now because they are leading this game at halftime. What it means is they have vaulted Indy 11 in the live table into top 2 position, and again within striking distance of Pittsburgh, who plays 2 road games to conclude the season. So the title hope's still very much available for Nashville if they were to hold on to this lead. On the other end, near disaster for Lou City as this pushes them farther away from that top 4 spot that they crave.
Yeah, sure, and there's 2 games left. Now, what this really will do for Nashville, if they can hold on to get the 3 points, is boy, does that put some pressure on Pittsburgh going into the last 2 games of the year.
It's been a wild run in here. So these are games after September 1st. One, you can see Nashville hasn't played a lot of games, but you also look at some of the other teams that we thought would have a strong finish, such as Indy 11 and New York. Disaster for those teams heading down the stretch, and it's given Nashville a major opportunity to claim a top 2, maybe even a top 1 spot, except for Pittsburgh, who's surging.
Well, and I think the scheduling is definitely paying a large dividend to Nashville right now. They were front-loaded in games early in the season. I think that allowed them to gain some experience, gain some momentum for Coach Smith to really recognize what formation was going to be best for his team, and it really provided the backbone of him being able to play players.
And it helps for Nashville having several games at home to close the season. The final 2 matches will be at home for Nashville. If they win this game or any of the 2 of the last 3, they will play a home playoff game in front of those well-dressed fans at First Tennessee Park. Halftime presented by Nissan. We will kick off the second half when we return.
sports fans, let's talk about the temperatures for tonight. Looking pretty comfortable here in Nashville. Be in the mid-50s for those overnight lows. A few clouds around, definitely cooling down with a quiet night ahead. Going into Wednesday then, you can see mainly clear skies continue to be our story. We look to stay dry. There will be a 10% chance of a shower, it looks like, on Wednesday. Other than that, looking at partly cloudy skies, temperatures right around 80 degrees.
Perfect night for the players and the fans at First Tennessee Park after a season of heat and rain. A wonderful evening, and so far through 45 minutes of soccer, 1-0 Nashville with the lead. John Freeman, Ronnie Woodard at First Tennessee Park, and well, you can see behind us the teams are ready to go. They came out of the locker room early, so let's dive right into our first half highlights. And well, Ronnie, Nashville opened the scoring in the 5th minute. Taylor Washington, his first goal of the season. He had gone 2,900 minutes between goals until this.
Well, what a cracker of a goal. First time left-footed ball to that far post, well-deserved. And as we were discussing in here, the best goal face celebration ever, Taylor Washington. Then it follows up with a quick opportunity. Then Justin Davis knocks the ball into this back post. And you got Matt LaGrassa fighting within that battle.
And Louisville really responded well after the goal. They had the majority of the possession, several good looks. Just could not really test Matt Pickens, who was very good in the air.
Yeah, he's just solid all the way around. You can't just loft a ball in there and expect it not to be picked up by him. And then what a rocket of a shot from Ropapa Mensah, and Ownby yet again saved off of the line by Forrest Lasso. Great defensive shape by Forrest Lasso to go into halftime 0-0.
Well, here we go. 45 more minutes to settle this regular season between these two teams, the second and final meeting of the regular season. If Nashville were to win this game, it would guarantee them that they would finish above Lou City and would finish no worse than 5th in the USL Eastern Conference. 15th home game, just the 3rd time Nashville has led at home at half. Louisville quickly going to work. It's that Davis versus Davis matchup. Justin Davis for Nashville. George Davis, the 4th for Lou City. Louisville made a substitution at half. It was Sean Francis. He's been pulled out. Player who spent most of the half defending Ropapa Mensah, and in his place is Luke Spencer, an outright forward for Lou City. So Francis, the defender, out. Spencer, who has 7 goals this year, actually scored the first ever goal in USL that Nashville has conceded. That came in the first match of last year. 2-0 win for Lou City that ignited this rivalry. So Ronnie, what do you make of the substitution? You got Luke Spencer in for Lou City.
I think they're going with a little bit higher and more of an attack. Looks like they're going to be playing with 2 up high right now. You got Ownby and Spencer that are putting themselves posted up on the 2 center backs.
Now, correction, what was passed along to us was that Luke Spencer was in the game. Instead, it's Antoine Openo.
Oh,
so I was looking down at the substitution without checking the actual players on the field, and it's Antoine Openo who's been brought in, and Spencer remains on the bench.
Well, that makes more sense.
So for Openo, 28-year-old Parisian, 2 goals this year. 1 of them came against Nashville. So apologies for the substitution confusion. Openo was traded in the middle of the season, started the year at Tampa Bay, 9 appearances for the Rowdies, played less than 400 minutes, was swapped for Lucky Mkosana, and then scored his first goal for the boys. They're wearing purple that day, Lou City, and it came against Nashville in that meeting in July. So there is Openo. Played his college soccer at Princeton, Ivy League educated.
So, John, after it took me a second to get my bearings here, there's definitely a formation change by Lou City. So they took out Francis, who's the left back, who was playing up there matched up with Ropapa Mensah, and they've added Hopeno as an attacking player. So they're taking two attacking players and posting them up on Lasso and Ockford. And if you look at the shape right now, it seems to be resembling a 3-5-2 a bit more that Lou City's gone into.
Oh, Nashville has slipped it through. It's Darnell King, squared back in front. And the tardy arrival of Taylor Washington keeps it 1-0. Justin Davis has wiggled past George Davis, the fourth. It's loose in front, and how was that not turned in on frame?
But what about the tackle by Justin Davis on this left flank to keep that ball alive?
A frenetic sequence.
Hopefully we can see all the way back.
It was Daniel Rios who missed from right in front. And Lou City just can't get out of its own defensive ends. They finally do at the feet of Brian Ownby. Ownby charging forward. And again, roadblocked by Justin Davis. Rios. And now Lebo Maloto. Frenzied start to this second half. Rios. King. Mensah again. Trialing the outside back. Tugged his jersey. And the yellow card awarded to Paco Craig, who will be suspended for the next match. It will be the 5th suspension of this season for Craig.
Okay, so Paco Craig gave himself a little jersey tug, but there's been very few calls on Paco Craig throughout the game. The first half was spirited. They were allowed to play a bit more, and then now we come out after halftime and we give a jersey tug with a yellow card right away. I'm curious as to how this is going to transpire throughout the rest of the game.
Nashville with the free kick. Launched in, Hubbard off his line. Two-fisted punch. Retrieved by Darnell King. Slammed off of Ownby. Lou City's got something here with Ownby. Openo sprinting forward. Did he hold his run long enough? The answer is no. It's offside, no goal. The second half picked up right where the first half began. Here is the sequence that nearly turned into a Nashville goal. So Taylor Washington just not there in time, but then the play continues. So as King is well out of the play, watch it come back towards goal, and it comes to Daniel Rios. It finds its way to Rios right on top. Oh, that's the best goal scorer in the USL Eastern Conference.
I do believe it might have been called back for a handball prior to that, though, within the box.
Well, the indication was goal kick, though.
It was.
From Lucas Spalla
But
after the ball went over.
At that point, the handball was about at the 6-yard box, so it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, which he decides to call and just let the play go through.
Oh, here's George Davis. Turned wide without intervention, so it is a goal kick.
So what the video didn't show, so we'll go to this first.
So here's the chance for George Davis, as both teams with good opportunities. Did not touch Justin Davis on the way out. Hey fans, Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Sturdy defending from Sean Tosh. Lung-busting run from Paco Craig, the center back. Williams. Where's the number 80? As he said, he couldn't decide between 10 and 8, so he multiplied them.
I like it.
One of the more unconventional shirts of the USL Championship. Here's Openo. Justin Davis has been excellent all night.
He's just a warrior, an absolute warrior on that flank.
Craig pondering the destiny of his cross. Met by Lasso and slammed off of Lasso. Well, fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. John Hackworth replaced James O'Connor in August of 2018 when O'Connor left to be the head coach at Orlando City, was relieved of his duties today.
Shocking. Short tenure.
Not shocking if you know the Orlando City organization.
True.
I believe their 4th coach in the last 6 years. Here's Ropapa Mitza. An acre of space to work with. Driving right at Del Piccolo. Hauled down and no call, and Del Piccolo taking exception, saying that Mitza went down softly.
Oh, can't wait to see the replay of that one. Wow.
You make the call, Ronnie. Penalty or not?
Penalty. Without a doubt. Faced up 1 versus 1 inside of the 18, took an isolation touch and was taking his ability to get to that ball was taken away from him. Penalty.
Rios. Recruiting LaGrassa forward. Oh, expertly switched to Taylor Washington. Asking and receiving is Akinyoti. Rios. Melodo avoiding the challenge from Tosh. Cleaned up by Ockford. Del Piccolo. Rasmussen scored the winner versus St. Louis on Saturday for Lou City. Davis, Ownby, Davis off of his own teammate. It's a player that you raved about when we were talking off camera and off mic at halftime, Brian Ownby.
The impact that he had on the first half of the game in the attacking third for Lou City was phenomenal. His movement was great. His hold-up play was great. Played off 1 touch. And what I like about him, and he just tried to do that right there, he was getting out of the space so that Davis can strike the ball. And he was dragging Lasso out of that space so Davis had an open area to be able to strike. I think Ownby is a difference maker in this game. And I know we talked a lot about Rios at the beginning of the game, but Ownby has been really impressive thus far.
Rios is onside. It's off of Tosh. It's still Rios. Again, no way through this Louisville back line here in this second half. Rios starting to hone his sights near the hour mark. Well, there were shouts as well for a handball. And I'll ask you for the second time in 5 minutes, penalty or not.
I'm not sure I would have called that one. His hand was by his side.
Yeah, it's not an unnatural position.
Yeah, no. I think I would have allowed that one to go. I understand the Nashville fans screaming for it. I don't think I would have called that.
Mensah has inherited. He's run himself out. So it's a 4-2-3-1 for Nashville. Mensah playing the right wing. We asked Gary Smith what his natural position was. He said just an outright forward, not a wing. And now Lebo Melodo has been involved in the collision, and he goes into the book. Lucas Spalla will be a busy referee here for the final 30 minutes.
I think there was a definite conversation in the locker room regarding keeping this game under control.
Not a lot of arguments there if you're Melodo, right?
No, I don't think so. Although he is arguing. I think that the conversation in the locker room between the referees was turning into a bit of a slugfest towards the end of the match. And they've got to keep the integrity of the game. And I think that these quick whistles and this quick bookings is trying to set the tempo to, hey, boys, let's play. And let's not get caught up in the physicality of the match. Let's let it be part of our environment, but let's not let it dominate the final 30 minutes of this game.
And would you say it's working?
Well, thus far, no. However, I think that at a certain point it will have to start working, or we're going to have a really, really disconnected match, which isn't going to be favorable for either team.
Well, down on the field near all the commotion is our Kelly Glendening. Kelly, what do you have for us?
Thanks, John. I just spoke with Stacey Daniels down here on the sideline, and he told me that Matt LaGrassa covered the most distance in the first half. Sprints came from Daniel Rios, which is a first that we have not seen this season. He's up top working really hard, and then the fastest was Ropapa Minsta. He clocked in at 21.3 miles per hour. John?
Full team performance. Players have really sold out for this one. Crunching challenge from Bolu Akinyodi, and he goes into the book. Paco Craig involved, who is on a yellow card himself.
So remember, Bolu had a conversation in the first half already with the referee, so he had already been warned. So it's not unexpected.
Take a look at the Akinyodi challenge. I'm asking you to play referee a lot in this half. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, first of all, I'm uncomfortable with that whole playing referee role. Because I tend to like to let players play through a lot of situations. And but I do see what the value in the whistle is right now, because the game has gotten very chippy. And he's got to maintain some level of control.
Sets up Louisville for a free kick. Sliders off of two Nashville players. Rebounds out to Brian Ownby.
However, to go back to that, what you don't want is for the referee to become something that impacts the match. He's supposed to stay in to monitor it, to keep it safe and keep it a quality match. But when he starts to impact it with his whistle is when players get even more frustrated. So I think there's a fine balance between what's happening right now of trying to reestablish a level of professionalism on the field and creating too much of a distraction with the whistle.
Plucked off the foot of Williams by Melodo. It's down again. The whistle supplied by Lucas Spalla. Hey fans, Nashville SC's next home game, you don't have to wait long for it. It's Saturday, October 12th at Nissan Stadium against North Carolina FC. Single game tickets available online at NashvilleSC.com. You normally don't worry too much about a Tuesday to Saturday game just because you got that extra day of break from midweek to the weekend, but the way this game is being played, recovery might take a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah, I think Stacey Daniels is going to have his work cut out for him with the regeneration for this match. And the main thing you don't want is to see an injury occur for either team.
Ownby has been sent on his way. It's a foot race with Lasso. And another goal-saving challenge from Lasso. And rarely do you see Matt Pickens that animated with a teammate.
But look at this tackle. Fantastic. And here's the thing. Forrest Lasso brought his A game tonight. Of course Matt Pickens is going to hug on him. That's back-to-back saves that he's had for him. Tremendous amount of value in that.
So here is Luke Spencer. 7 goals this year. Scored against Nashville last year in the season opener. George Davis's night is over, so he takes both himself and his yellow card out. And his frustrations out as well. 65th minute, Coca-Cola corner kick for Lou City. Safety first from Lasso. Excuse me, from Jimmy Ogden.
Nashville's going to have to be stout defensively because I'm just not sure 1-0 is going to be enough in this match to hold on.
Now, Lou City's without its normal corner kick taker and Oscar Jimenez, who leads the USL Eastern Conference in both crosses and chances created. So it's Niall McCabe over to take it. Jimenez was not listed in the injury report and is not in the 18 after playing all but 1 game this season.
Yeah, that was the one that was the most confusing to me. You know, when as we're preparing for this game or looking through it, Jimenez is this the mainstay as not left back. And then for him to not be in the 18, maybe he's knocked up a little bit from the last match, need a little rest.
So the corner from McCabe. Ivo Melodo giving chase. And he's forced the Frenchman Antoine Openo to do a mistake and conceding a throw-in. Fans, Major League Soccer is almost here. Season tickets are now available. Ticket packages start at just $25 a match, and payment plans are available. To purchase your 2020 MLS season tickets, visit NashvilleSC.com.
That was handled like a true attacking player by Openo. He knocks it straight out of bounds. He was not going to take any chance at all being that last line of defense.
It's a high boot from Paco Craig. Nothing in it, was certainly playing the ball, but
nonetheless, still high.
Another reminder that he is on a yellow card already. 3 Nashville players can say the same: Melodo, King, and Akinyoti. Melodo standing over. 2nd in the Eastern Conference, 9 assists this year, but he's gone 5 straight games without one. Instead, it's Davis's cross.
While I think there was an appreciation for Ockford extending for that, I think possibly Lasso could have called him off. A little bit more size in the box, a little bit better angle, a little bit more in behind him. It appears maybe Lasso had a bit of a collision, maybe an elbow in his chest.
Is Ockford saying that he took an elbow?
That's what it looks like. And if that hit right on top of those trackers, that's painful.
GPS trackers that they have on their chest.
Mm-hmm.
Our production crew saying they've combed through all the replays, did not see anything worth showing. street fight of a soccer match. Every inch of the field has been contested.
So right there, if Daniel Rios is going to press that high onto Hubbard, the rest of Nashville has to join. You know, there is an easy outlet pass right in the center of the field to Del Piccolo because Nashville did not step with Daniel Rios. And they're only so long, and it can't be effective for one attacking player to do the defensive work in the final third. The entire Nashville unit, if they're pressing, has to press as a unit for it to be effective.
Oh, how neatly done that is by Rios. Akinyoti nearly slipping through Rios. But with one positive touch, would have been in on goal. Last touch was Tennessee, and this will be a corner kick for Lou City. '70th minute, pressure mounting. Now without Oscar Jimenez, it'll be Magnus Rasmussen to take the corner. The Coca-Cola corner kick. Sent it without a mailing address. No one home on that far post. John Hackworth's team in jeopardy of seeing its 10-game unbeaten streak broken here at First Tennessee Park. That unbeaten streak, not only the longest in the USL, it is the longest of any team in the American soccer pyramid, first, second, and third division, so MLS and also USL League Two. Open out, exploring the near flank. Washington rescinding to defense. Needed header from King. Down was LaGrassa. Stabbing in was Jimmy Ockford. Tosh. Again spurned by Ockford. They reload at the feet of Ownby. It's sent in low and loose right at the penalty spot. Calmly away again from Davis.
Forrest Lasso again.
Had a heck of a night after missing 2 straight games.
He's been fabulous. I gotta tell you, where in the first half the two systems mirrored one another, there's nothing similar now. And I believe with that last substitution that we've seen one more transformation in how Lou City's playing, and now they're looking like they're more in a 3-4-3 shape, adding more and more numbers into that attacking third.
Craig at the gates of the defense. Second ball won again by Lou City. Got Nashville pinned back. McCabe. Williams. Clairvoyant defending from Jimmy Ockford. Melodo down the field for Rios. And fouled Sean Tosh. Look, for as much as we talked about the Craig versus Rios matchup, Sean Tosh has done a wonderful job on the USL's Eastern Conference scoring leader in Rios.
He's done a great job, and Rios has been active, but I think most of the work he's been doing has been defensive. So we've got some substitutions coming in.
Gary Smith is trying to bar the door here, as he's bringing in 2 defensive-minded players. One is Bradley Bourgeois, who is a center back, and he will replace Ropapa Mensah He's been a wing in this 4-2-3-1. And then Derek Jones will take out Taylor Washington. Jones on an MLS contract was signed in the middle of the season and then broke his leg just 2 appearances in an Open Cup match versus Charleston. Had surgery and has finally worked his way back in to gathering some minutes here. Just his 4th appearance in USL action for Nashville SC. Played 8 minutes against Loudoun. It's Ownby right on top. Spencer, oh my goodness! How did Matt Pickens make that save? The denial of the season from Pickens. Unreal from the Golden Glove leader.
And who was part of that buildup, though? None other than Ownby.
Entrepreneurial run from Justin Davis. Jones, a late run arriving. The cross was too close to the soaring goalkeeper, Chris Hubbard. So good from Justin Davis again. The first touch from Bradley Bourgeois. Out for a throw. Here is a look at the save.
Look at Ownby's first ball. Back into Spencer. What a great reflex stage. But the hardest thing about what Matt Pickens did is he went from his left post, got across the goal, and had to make the save. But again, it is Ownby who is part of that attack in his dynamic movement, and then the quality of that ball that he just played right across to Spencer was world class.
And it's Ownby again. Feeling that he was sliced down by Darnell King, and it's Lucas Spalla. Does not make the call. Well, it's time to vote for today's Budweiser Man of the Match. Find the poll at the official Nashville SC Twitter account at Nashville SC. Candidates abound, the Taylor Washington goal, but then Matt Pickens, a late right-in with that spectacular save. Keep the lead in Nashville's hands. Here's Derek Jones. Rios creatively to Jones. Turned over by Akinyoti. Bombarding forward is McCabe with Spencer to his right. So the pass behind Craig. Lasso down. Bondi's on the floor. Hands in the air and applause for Lasso.
So I don't think it has to be said, but with the substitution that Coach Smith made, he's transitioned into a 5-back line to hold down the fort. And he's got the one lone striker in Daniel Rios. And there's no doubt that was a foul. Just addressing the replay, that was a foul.
And Lou City, with its final substitution of the night, it is Abdou Jam who will replace Captain Paolo Del Piccolo. Jam, 3 goals this year, was a prolific scorer as a Husky at UConn. Scored big goals this season, notably against Indy 11 and Tampa Bay, 2 teams in the top 4 of the USL Eastern Conference.
There's that 5-4-1 you can see from Nashville that'll be coming into your screen soon. So they're defending in 2 banks. They've got the bank of 4, and then behind them they've got the bank of 5. And if you look carefully, you can see Lou City has now set 4 players up high against the 5. So this is quite the chess match in the final third for both teams right now. So Nashville needs to stay compact defensively, keep Lou City in front of them, don't allow them to play penetrating passes in behind. And then if they can look to counter very quickly, they can catch Lou City in a transitional shape.
McCabe easily clasped by Matt Pickens. Nashville over 300 straight minutes without conceding. Matt Pickens, 3 straight clean sheets. Maloto. A cunning touch from Rios. Jones. Distracted by Oaks. High pressure yielding results. Leaking away is Rasmussen. Gary Smith at the top of your screen. He's barely sat at all this match. Told us on the sideline there will be a, quote, fire raging inside of him throughout this full 90 minutes. Spencer, Openo. Stolen by Akinyoti. Openo again, around the tackle. Openo's cross, headed up by Ockford. Still important defending to do. And guess who it is to turn it home? The most clutch man of all the Kings for Louisville, Luke Spencer. Goal number 8 of the year for Spencer. It had been brewing for the visitors.
So originally, Davis goes to ground. Del Picchio knocks the ball above. Plays it to the back post. Ockford gets a piece of it, but Matt Pickens had committed himself early, so he was off balance when that ball came back in. So, I mean, quality finish by Luke Spencer. Lou City, with their consistent change in formations, was causing Nashville some issues, wasn't it? And actually, earlier, the ball was played in by Openo to Spencer.
And Openo has been fabulous off the bench.
He's been very good, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I drew attention that he's been a game changer in this second half. He came in and sparked that attack, and then Luke Spencer has come in and done the same thing. And so if you're in Nashville and you have to deal with Spencer, Ownby, and Openo at the same time, that is a very difficult task when you've already played 3/4 of a game, and now we're starting to give up silly fouls right there by Daniel Rios. Nashville can't come unhinged at this point in the match.
The yellow card to Daniel Rios, the 4th Nashville player in the book. And Brian Ownby continues to make inroads through this Nashville defense. Tireless player. This is all happening in front of tonight's Ashton Real Estate attendance, 5,837.
Those people are going to have to start willing this Nashville defense in.
Lofted in towards the back post. Flubbed by Rios. Now, if this game finishes 1-1, will toss and turn in his bet all night after the miss early in the second half.
That was most definitely a foul in the back of Lasso. Absolutely no intent to play the ball. Rasmussen just came flat in behind him with a forearm and tried to get him off balance.
Here's Job. Tosh. Now, what's interesting here, Ronnie, is typically, a team scores an equalizer on the road against one of the top opponents in the USL. They would sit in and be content with a point. Louisville can't do that. One, because they're a very good team and they have every right to attack and they should have the confidence. But two, they need 3 points tonight.
Sure.
One is not going to be good enough if they want to finish in the top 4.
Well, and their approach to the second half has been just that, a sense of urgency to get 3 points.
McCabe's cross. Headed down, decisions to make for Lucas Spalla, and he points at the goal for a goal kick.
Every decision. Here we go. Take a look at it.
It's Niall McCabe's cross. Rasmussen had a good look at it.
Did not much to unfold there, but The thing to talk about that made it really obvious that Lou City is playing for 3 points is everything they've done in the second half. Their approach the entire half has been attack-oriented. Their first ball has been forward. They're completing passes. They're putting Nashville under pressure. They're throwing numbers forward, changing systems of play, changing their formation to see where they could find a pocket of hope to get back into this game, and they did just that.
See Darnell King going lightly into that challenge, thinking twice about it. He has a yellow card along with Akinyoti, Meloto, and Rios for Nashville. So 4 of the 10 outfield players on yellows for the home side. A rare venture forward here in this second half. Dissolves with a pass from Meloto. Away from Lasso. Nashville preparing its final substitution. First, they set sail here with Meloto.
Persistence by Bradley Bourgeois on that play.
Davis has linked up with Meloto. Meloto conversing with Lucas Spalla. This is rebounded to Ownby. Drawn Matt Pickens off his line. Well, the votes are in. Today's Budweiser Man of the Match, voted on by you, the fans. Number 33, Forrest Lasso, a noble selection.
Well deserved. On the day, Forrest Lasso has been excellent. Now, can he help anchor this defense to assure a point and give the rest of his team a chance to win and earn those 3 points? And you know, Nashville has had a belief system within themselves that they have the ability to win games late. They are the Cardiac kids when it comes to that. There's no fear in their mind when it comes down and they're in injury time.
A man who scored a very big late goal this season set to come in. It was Belmar who scored on the road against Tampa Bay several weeks ago. In a game that was at that point the biggest game of the season. It was the game winner, and he replaces Lebo Meloto. Belmar 3 goals this season. And Meloto with that yellow card now out of the match. Jones. Swarmed by Williams and Openo. Boys in gold attacking towards that wall of noise, standing behind the target. Jones, oh how neatly done that is. Hauled down by Williams. Full of yellow cards. The foul from Williams goes unpunished. And now Nashville can bring its center backs forward The aerial presence of Jimmy Ockford, Forrest Lasso, and also Bradley Bourgeois.
Every single Lou City player is inside of 20 yards of goal right now. Look at that line on the 6.
Comes in from Davis towards Ockford. Important touch from Paco Craig. Delmar needs to be careful here. LaGrassa spills down, and Nashville will have a set piece this time from the far flank. A team that has filled this stadium with late magic. Can they pull out another?
Look at that zonal defense by Lou City inside. Look at the basic, for lack of a better words, wall that they've put about on the penalty spot.
Already 2 90th minute goals this season for Nashville. Can they deliver another? They'll have the opportunity to do so with the Coca-Cola corner kick.
Collision between Ockford and Paco on that. I'm sorry, that's not Paco. You're looking at the collision between Pay and Ockford. Both getting up a bit slow. Great defensive header. As Ockford was trying to frame this ball back across the goal, and Pay did a great job of breaking that up.
90th minute. Late in the season, late in the match. Headed down and wide. It was Bradley Bourgeois who made the connection. And Lou City wants to get things underway quickly. Now gray numbers flooding forward. Four minutes of stoppage time. The passer in front of him is Niall McCabe. Pressure building at the feet of Craig. Williams. McCabe. Remember, a draw doesn't do either of these teams much good. And Williams surely going to go into the book here for multiple offenses on Rios.
Great gamesmanship by Daniel Rios. He drew Williams in, took an isolation touch past him, and just basically knew he had miles of space in front of him and a team that was still transitioning in a defensive shape. And so what does he do? He draws in Williams and then draws a free kick for Nashville. Allows his team to get a more advanced position on the field.
Sit in. It's Jimmy Ockford! What deal have they struck with the soccer gods? The club of chaos! The team of destiny has done it again! The roar of a title contender, and it is deafening.
So there's the ball served in. What a class ball. Look at Jimmy Ockford attacking it, putting the ball to the far post, high enough away. Hubbard's off balance, getting to his near post. Ockford takes it back where it came from, to the far post. No way for Hubbard to make that save. But it all started with the gamesmanship of Daniel Rios drawing the foul. And that's a true pro. What did he do? He gave his team a chance to win by holding the ball in a dangerous area, drawing Williams in, assessing the situation, drawing the foul, allows his team to get in a forward position, an advanced position, and a chance to win this game.
And now they must dig in and hold.
And committing fouls like that is not helpful by Belmar. Nashville has to buckle down now. Listen to Matt Pickens. Let Ockford and Lasso and Pickens lead them. Be safe in their decision making and clear that ball far and wide and try and let the clock be their friend at this point. And now there has to be a bit of bravery on this set piece by Nashville.
Players being positioned. Launched in by McCabe. The header from Lasso. And out for the Coca-Cola corner kick.
I'm not surprised that we're not seeing Hubbard in the box at this point. This point in the game,
Blue City's got nothing to lose.
they have absolutely nothing to lose, yet they still have a player behind the D.
So the Coca-Cola corner kick from McCabe. Away from LaGrassa.
And there's why. Keep the ball alive. Williams was put there.
Williams!
Williams' positioning was there because knowing Nashville was going to win a first ball and it would come directly into him. And here comes Hubbard into the attack at the very end of the game. So here it is. That's exactly what Williams was put to do. Nashville had all 11 players inside of the box, and his job was to clear it.
Quarter comes in again. Oh, what a save! Matt Pickens in a different dimension. Headed away by Lasso. Reloaded by McCabe and sent out. Swarm that man and follow him. 3 whistles, 3 points in a collision of the most searing clubs in the East. It is Nashville who stands over the wreckage. A primal scream of a performance. Late, great victory again at First Tennessee Park. And there is the hero, Jimmy Ockford. Stunning, stunning night. What is extraordinary here, and what is now the regular?
Is that a smile from Coach Smith? Look at that.
The longest unbeaten streak in the United States in the top 3 divisions, shattered by the late goal from Jimmy Ockford. Nashville will finish above Blue City in the regular season standings. That is guaranteed. They are 3 points away from securing a home playoff match. On a massive night, that man stood up with some spectacular saves. It'll be hard to pick which one was the best. Take a look at this one, and then we will rejoin you at First Tennessee Park. Wild nights, 2-1, Nashville wins. you're just joining us, you might have just missed the USL Game of the Year. That was a fantastic game. 2-1 Nashville, the winner tonight. A late Jimmy Ockford goal again in stoppage time. A heroic performance from Forrest Lasso, the center back for Nashville, who wore the captain's armband tonight. 2-1, Nashville gets the win. A night where they needed 3 points to keep their title hopes alive. And they get those 3 points, and they are guaranteed now to finish above Lou City in the regular season standings. And really importantly for Nashville, that means they'll never have to go to Louisville Slugger Park again, no matter what happens in the playoffs. Taylor Washington actually opened the scoring. 5th-minute goal for Nashville SC, his first of the season. Well, we'd like to thank our corporate partners, Nissan, Vanderbilt Health, Dex Imaging, Budweiser, Puckett's, Kroger, Coca-Cola, MyTV30, and Fox 17. I'm John Freeman, joined by Ronnie Woodard. And Ronnie, have you caught your breath yet?
Barely. I just asked the production crew if we could just stay on line for a little bit longer on the broadcast, because I'd really like to talk more about the game and the heroics and just break the entire second half down, because it was just magical from both sides. Let's be honest. There were tactical decisions that were made and changes in formations, in personnel, in tactics, and it was an absolute joy to watch two teams play a chess match, but with a battle of physicality that was in there too.
Yeah, Matt Pickens was wonderful tonight. He made a save about midway through the second half that we said was the save of the season. It's not even our save of the night. He made an even better one late in this match. This was in stoppage time after the Jimmy Ockford goal, wrestling away what would have been a heartbreaker scored by Lou City. Watch this save from Matt Pickens.
I mean, class act. Look at that. Going back away from where he came from, keeping the score within reason and giving his team a chance to win. Matt Pickens is cat-like reflexes.
There's Lebo Maloto with his young son, Josiah. Another victory for Nashville. There is Matt Pickens. Well, he lost his clean sheet streak. He had 3 straight clean sheets. That was broken after the equalizer from Lou City late in that second half, and then a go-ahead goal, and then preserved by Pickens, who still is in the lead for the Golden Glove race. If he concedes 3 or less goals in the final 2 games of the season, he will be the Golden Glove winner after conceding just once tonight. Here are the final stats, Ronnie. Look at the possession. Louisville had the majority of it by a large amount. Otherwise, it evened out a little bit down the stretch, but you'd say Louisville fought and clawed to get that game-tying goal. Was probably better for the majority of that second half, but then Nashville finds a way like they always do.
Well, and they scored the first goal at the very beginning of the match, right? They came out firing, and then they withheld pressure, and they had to withstand that type of environment that Lou City put at them in the first half. In the second half, Lou City threw everything at them. They changed their formation. They added in attacking players. You saw Spencer come in the back. You saw Openo come into the match, and they consistently just showed bravery in that back third of the field and continued to fight. And then they get the opportunity to win, and they showed up. You know, and so does it tell the story? The possession? I don't think so. And the possession isn't always indicative of who's going to win the match, does it?
Let's take a look at how this impacts the standings. For Lou City, it is catastrophic in their top 4 hopes. This is a team, Lou City, that went 10 straight games unbeaten. They only moved up 1 spot during that run. They're holding off North Carolina, but still in a battle for that 7th place. Don't sleep too much on Ottawa as well. There's a chance, even with a really bad performance down the stretch here, Louisville could end up in the play-in game. That's what the 8th seed would be. And then for Nashville on the other end, 1 point out of first place. 2 home games remaining. The next one at Nissan Stadium. Pittsburgh on the road for 2 straight games. That goal from Jimmy Ockford saved their title chance.
The win tonight and the 3 points for Nashville is probably the biggest win in the history of the club thus far, because that Louisville is a very good team. That is a quality team that Nashville just beat in additional time. But once again, the comeback kids, the cardiac kids, whatever you want to call it, their ability to maintain their focus and their composure in extra time or down the stretch is the difference in them winning and losing right now. And they possess that quality, and I'm not sure a lot of teams have that. And so for them to step up, when that set piece came up, Jimmy Ockford was going to score that goal. And that's the fiber of Nashville Soccer Club.
And it sends Nashville up to second place in the table, 1 point behind Pittsburgh. That is our final tonight. 2-1, Nashville SC getting the win over Lou City FC. Another wild night at First Tennessee Park. Let's see if they can carry this madness over across the river to Nissan Stadium. They will have their chance on Saturday night when Nashville hosts North Carolina FC, a chance with a win to lock in a home playoff game right here in this stadium. I want to say a big thank you to everybody involved in our broadcast. For Ronnie Woodard, I'm John Freeman saying so long from First Tennessee Park. These are the scenes of a wild Tuesday night in the USL Championship. Nashville victorious over the defending champions.